From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your afternoon update.
Well, if you enjoy what you see here, you can also see it from your phone, whether it's your Android or your iPhone. Just go to the free Weather NorCal app. Everything Weather NorCal has to offer, from neighborhoods to current conditions to the video forecast that you're watching right now, to Coffee with Kruger, to the live 24-hour streaming channel, to the special programming, Wonderful World of Animals, the Ag Report, all of that available from the free Weather NorCal app. Go to your app store, search for Weather NorCal, download it for free today. There are no hidden costs or fees. All right, the cooling trend, it peaks today. We're going to notice temperatures not quite as hot as they have been, but after that, temperatures will kind of level out going into Friday through the weekend, back up to around 100 degrees, give or take, for the valley. And of course, not quite as hot for the mountains, but still kind of leveling off there as well. The hot and dry conditions will continue Conditions continue keeping that fire danger fairly high, especially in the valley, but even the eastern mountains seeing some of that elevated fire danger as well. And a heat wave, well, it looks like we do have quite a heat wave heading our way, just in time, unfortunately, for that 4th of July celebrations. So take a look at your neighborhood forecast for today. Again, temperatures are starting to drop. Today's the peak, but we're going to notice temperatures increase over the next few days, and in particular going into next week. So the winds are actually picking back up again this afternoon. That's going to elevate the fire danger, especially for western Tehama County, but really not that bad off to the north and east. Still those gusty north winds for the coast. Taking to Friday morning, interestingly enough, we're actually starting off with some gusty winds to start off the morning from the north for the valley. And then those winds should die down a little bit, but before picking back up again for Friday afternoon. Once again, a little breezy for the eastern mountains, but not as bad as it has been, and still that north wind for the coast. How about Saturday? Well, Saturday, not that bad to start off, but once again, a bit on the breezy side, especially for western Tehama County, but also a little bit on the breezy side and gusty at times for Modoc County, eastern mountains, and Tallahassee County, right? And still that north wind once again for the coast. So look at our fire weather risk here for today. Not that much of an issue, right? We see a little bit of yellow here east of Susanville, but for the most part, low to moderate here, including the valley. But look at this little spike right here. That's when those winds pick up this afternoon and evening, and that's going to elevate the fire danger for a brief period of time. Goes back to low tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon. Again, where we're seeing the strongest winds is where we have the highest fire danger. But elsewhere, looking at mainly low fire weather risk. Now Saturday, it gets a little bit more widespread as we have some areas of stronger winds here for the north end of the valley in particular, but we're also seeing those gusty winds you saw off of the Modoc County eastern mountains. We're beginning to see just some light shades of yellow, so we're getting into the low to even some moderate fire weather risk here for your Saturday in the eastern mountains in particular. Now this area of low pressure right here is the reason for our cooler temperatures today. That's scooting off to the east. Meanwhile, another area of low pressure right here, this one will also keep those temperatures at bay, but it's not going to move as far south as this low. So as a result, our temperatures will be warmer with that stretch, but they'll be kept basically kind of level off here for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So again, there's that area of low pressure. You see how it's actually kind of just getting nudged a little bit more to the north. And the reason being is we've got high pressure to our south and west, high pressure to our north, south, and east. The combination of those two building is what's really keeping that from coming as far south as it would like to. So as a result, as I mentioned, in the valley, leveling off around 100 degrees, give or take, more like the 90s for many of the higher elevations. Now, we take a look at next week, and this is where things get more interesting, because as we go through next week, the ridge of high pressure over the eastern Pacific will build and get stronger. Now, notice the bubble of heat is still to our south and west, so it's not directly on top of us. But this is the first time we have a pretty strong ridge of high pressure that's not being impeded too much by a storm system to our north. This cooler air is trying to move in, but it's having a hard time as it tries to ride over that ridge of high pressure. Now, it will eventually kind of weaken it a little bit. You see how we're seeing that less prominent ridge and it's beginning to flatten out a bit. So I'm expecting for your 4th of July and even the day after the 4th of July, temperatures to be about the same. And we could be talking about 110 degrees for some of the warmer spots, maybe a little bit warmer in some areas here for the valley. And then even some triple-digit heat for some of the higher elevations as well. The good news is that should break down into that next weekend, allowing our temperatures to drop even more. But before that heat wave comes, I've been talking about that major heat, right? Today, not that bad. Temperatures low to mid-90s in the valley, in the mountains, in the 70s, and low 60s out along the coast. But when we look at that 7-day outlook, you can clearly see those temperatures are increasing. Now, again, after today, we're leveling off around 100 degrees for Redding, upper 90s for Red Bluff and Chico, and then temperatures start to kind of work their way up again. 108, 109, 110, you pick, right, depending on where you are in the valley for next Wednesday. Take a look at the coast. Even the coast will see a warming trend up to the mid to even upper 60s, maybe even some low 70s by the middle of next week. Inland, you're going to be looking at temperatures up to 100 degrees by Wednesday and probably even over 100 degrees for Weaverville by the time you get to next Tuesday, not to mention Wednesday as well. And for Siskiyou County, Modoc County, and the Eastern Mountains, you can see we're seeing the temperatures pretty pleasant today. They're beginning to increase. And again, not quite reaching 100 degrees for most of those mountain locations, but you're talking mid to upper 90s for especially Mount Shasta and Susanville.
Everywhere I go, I'm riding with pride. I'm riding on my go-go. Watch me glide. Everywhere I go, I'm getting around. I'm riding on my go-go. All over town. I'm riding in style and feeling so right. It's easy to take and it's all so light. Everywhere I go, I'm riding on my go-go.
Everything Medical, your mobility experts.